Imagine a serene Amish village, a peaceful haven untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Now place this tranquil community in the midst of some of history's most devastating wars. How did they hold on to their values while the world around them burned? Could they truly stick to their principles? Or did the tides of conflict force them to adapt? Explore the fascinating stories of the Amish and Mennonites during the American Civil War and World War II. Discover their courage, resourcefulness, and unwavering faith in the face of unimaginable challenges. Trust us, this is a story you don't want to miss. Let's go back to the 16th century Europe, a tumultuous time known as the Protestant Reformation. The lines between church and state were blurred, both brandishing enormous control over people's faith in everyday life. During this turbulent period, the Anabaptist movement, which includes the Amish and Mennonites, began to take shape, pushing against the power systems. Anabaptists, or rebaptizers, believed baptism should be an adult's conscious choice, marking a commitment to a religious life, a notion that massively challenged both the church and the state at the time. Anabaptists focused on living life according to the scriptures, highlighting simplicity, humility, and a personal bond with Jesus Christ. Desiring to return to what they considered untainted New Testament Christianity, they became peaceful dissenters with a no-compromise approach to their faith. This, along with their refusal to hold public office, made them a target of fierce persecution, with thousands facing brutal consequences for their beliefs. Two influential figures, Menno Simons, a Dutch Catholic priest turned Anabaptist, and Jacob Ammon, a Swiss Anabaptist leader, played pivotal roles in shaping the course of their faith. Ammon's stricter guidelines led to the birth of the Amish as a separate entity. Their commitment to peace was far from passive. Inspired by the teachings of Jesus, they upheld tenets like turning the other cheek and loving one's enemies. They steered clear from all forms of violence, impacting every aspect of their lives, from settling disputes to political decisions. This also meant staying away from societal institutions that contradicted their beliefs, including voting and modern technologies. As the 18th century rolled in, many fled persecution in Europe, seeking refuge and religious freedom in America. The Mennonites were among the early settlers, with the Amish arriving later. Their journey was not just about survival, it was an attempt to safeguard their spiritual autonomy. In America, they established self-reliant agrarian communities that mirrored their beliefs. Fast forward to the present, their shared dedication to peace remains unshaken. They continue to live life far away from worldly distractions, embracing simplicity and humility. However, their different interactions with the outside world set them apart. The Amish opt for strict separation, while the Mennonites engage more broadly with society, upholding their moral standards. Their beliefs, however, didn't present easy solutions during times of strife. The question of upholding peace in a world at war became prominent during the American Civil War. They were confronted with societal expectations and drafting laws, a litmus test for their pacifist roots in this and later conflicts in World War II. Their journey starts with these deeply embedded ideals, a commitment to peace that shaped their identity and historical impact. The choices they made during these critical times offer valuable lessons about conviction, resilience, and staying true to your beliefs in the face of tough challenges. Amid the turmoil and chaos of the Civil War, the Amish and Mennonites were put to an unprecedented moral test. Their unshakable belief in nonviolence and resistance to military service made them stand out like a beacon in an era where every man was mandated to fight. Even in the face of increasing pressure, these communities held true to their principles, sometimes at high cost. When the war raged on, these peace-loving groups were often scapegoated and marginalized, caught in the societal backlash for their refusal to pick up arms and join the fight. They were labeled as cowards, traitors, and unpatriotic for prioritizing peace among nationalism. Many had their properties vandalized, their livestock stolen, and their trust in society shattered. They stood strong in the storm, turning a deaf ear to public criticism and standing as a symbol of resilience rooted in humility and forgiveness. Their silent endurance was not a sign of weakness, but a shining testament to their deeply rooted beliefs. Legal difficulties were part of the ordeal, particularly after the introduction of the controversial 1863 Union Draft Law. Amish and Mennonite men were cornered into a system that offered little leniency. The option of paying a hefty $300 commutation fee to dodge service was a crippling financial blow for most rural farming families, equivalent to almost a year's income. Many were forced to explore alternative legal options or risk imprisonment for defying the law. Things were even harder down south, where the Confederate government imposed stricter rules. Many were pressed into non-fighting roles like wagon builders or teamsters, but even there, their beliefs were constantly tested. Stories have emerged of those conscripted into service refusing to carry weapons and facing punishment or confinement as a result. Undeterred by societal and legal pressures, the Amish and Mennonites showed imaginative resilience that allowed them to stay true to their tenets. They sought to serve without violating their peaceful beliefs, volunteering with freed slaves, providing expertise on farming techniques, or delivering aid to war-affected citizens. The women from these communities played a crucial role too, spearheading relief efforts such as sewing clothes for refugees and collecting funds for families struggling under the weight of draft fees. Their actions reflected the broader community spirit, choosing empathy and assistance during times of conflict. Their civil disobedience and innovative ways of maintaining their beliefs during the Civil War highlighted their commitment to conscientious objection. Even though they were outnumbered, their influence was far-reaching. Their persistent resistance initiated conversations about conscientious objection and set the foundation for future draft policies during the two world wars. Their steadfast choice for peace over violence also reflected onto the nation as a whole, pushing everyone to question the inherent dilemmas of war. Is honorable service only valid when combined with combat? Is patriotism truly exclusive to bearing arms? The Amish and Mennonites didn't just voice these queries, they led by example, laying the foundation for a deeper comprehension of faith, peace, and service in a world tainted by conflict. For these communities, the Civil War became a transformative period that reinforced their commitment to their faith. By withstanding societal resentment and legal obstacles, they shaped the discourse on conscientious objection for future generations. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the quiet strength of conviction. As we delve further into their role in America's later conflicts, this theme of unwavering belief and courage is something we'll see more of. Think back to World War II, a time unlike any other in world history. With a draft that left few untouched, the pressure to take up arms was intense. But what about those like the Amish and Mennonites, whose core beliefs hold nonviolence as a paramount virtue? Cue the Civilian Public Service, or CPS program, an oasis for these conscientious objectors, offering them an avenue to serve their nation without violating their principles. Sprouting all over the U.S. were CPS camps, acting as alternatives to military service. Over 12,000 conscientious objectors took up what was known as work of national importance. These tasks were no walk in the park. These resolute men were often seen working around the clock, battling soil erosion, constructing reservoirs for flood prevention, and fighting forest fires under the banner of organizations like the U.S. Forest Service and National Park Service. Some even took up the daredevil role of smoke jumpers, descending from the skies into isolated zones to fight wildfires, proving that courage isn't always about wielding a weapon. For the Amish and Mennonites, the CPS journey transcended beyond mere physical work. They found themselves amidst the crisis-struck psychiatric hospitals of the nation, where inhumane conditions ran rampant. Amidst the sparse funding, neglected patients, and violent methods of control, Amish and Mennonite men, driven by their deep compassion and faith, gave these patients the respect and care they deserved. What might have seemed like a small act of kindness then led to a dramatic shift in mental health care and improved life for countless patients. Some conscientious objectors even put themselves up as guinea pigs in groundbreaking medical experiments. Whether it was stringent starvation diets at the University of Minnesota or exposure to diseases like malaria at Massachusetts General Hospital, these men withstood difficult conditions to facilitate research that saved countless lives later. Despite the immense physical strains, these sacrifices resonated with their humanitarian values. However, the path was not always smooth. Conscientious objectors often worked with almost no pay, relying on their families for financial support. Public sentiment was far from supportive, often dismissing these men with the derogatory term "conscies." But as their unwavering commitment to nonviolent service unfolded, perceptions began to shift. Their work was soon recognized for what it was, an act of immense dedication. Life in CPS camps was a careful tightrope walk. While not military-based, these camps introduced a structured environment that was a far cry from Amish and Mennonite traditions. From strict schedules to communal living, juggling these new lifestyle dynamics with their core values was a challenge. yet many managed to find comfort in prayer, community, and the satisfaction of staying true to their faith. The CPS wasn't just a way for conscientious objectors to serve their country. It was a stage for their values to gain traction within society. Their impact, be it the significant improvements in mental health care, relentless environmental work, or contributions to medical research, left a lasting impression. They didn't just serve during the war. They helped shape the future in ways that resonate even today. Even as these men served on the front lines of alternative service, their families and communities were contributing their bit back home. But how did they maintain their traditions while supporting the war effort in their own ways? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the world of Amish life during wartime and learn just how they balanced their beliefs with the pressing demands of their times. Far from simply being a source of income, their farming practices morphed into a patriotic mission. As the nation's agricultural labor was depleted due to wartime drafts, these hard-working farmers picked up the slack. They employed age-old sustainable techniques that rejected the use of modern machines, but yielded plenty. Their hard work didn't only satiate their people's hunger, but also became a lifeline to armies and civilians alike, staving off grave food crises. These communities didn't stop at farming. They served as a wellspring of ingenious problem-solving when war-induced rationing hit hard. Embracing their tradition of self-reliance, they repaired and reused, ensuring nothing went to waste. Their knack for thriving with less became an inspiring beacon of resilience and inventiveness during tough times. Among their remarkable contributions was their unparalleled commitment to alleviate the sufferings of the displaced and the destitute. Unfazed by the global conflict that was unfolding, they joined forces with their Mennonite brethren and other peace church groups to extend aid. They packed relief boxes brimming with food, clothing, and other essentials, reaching out to the needy, not just within the USA, but war-afflicted regions worldwide. On the home front, Amish women played a pivotal role that went far beyond the traditional sewing circles. They led massive food conservation initiatives, canning fruits, vegetables, and meats in large quantities. This seemingly silent and humble act was a lifeboat in a sea of uncertainty. Their unique perspective even extended to their teaching methods. In Amish and Mennonite classrooms, educators instilled lessons of peace, community service, and faith. In doing so, they not only prepared the younger generation to carry forward these cherished traditions, but also made the classroom a potent space of resilience. However, this wasn't a journey free from criticism. Accusations of insularity often surfaced as their refusal to join combat was misconstrued. Despite these challenges, they showed the world that true patriotism isn't found only on battlegrounds. It can be quietly expressed through simple acts of compassion that have far-reaching effects. Their active participation on the home front signifies the cornerstone of their belief, service stemming from peace, faith, and love. Though they wielded no weapons, they carved their place in history. Their behind-the-scenes efforts demonstrated the immense impact of their unwavering commitment to service. The enduring influence of the Amish and Mennonites, particularly during moments of global conflict like the Civil War and World War II, isn't confined to their immediate peace-oriented actions. Instead, it had a transformative effect on the American landscape, altering views on service, resilience, and the intricate bond between personal beliefs and national duty. Have you ever considered who played a pivotal role in shaping the current legal understanding of conscientious objection? It's fascinating. The Amish and Mennonites, through their dedicated refusal to participate in military service and their involvement in alternative forms of work, pushed forward the development of policies safeguarding the right to refuse combat for religious or moral reasons. Landmark legislation, such as the Selective Training and Service Act of 1940, facilitating conscientious objection, and programs like the Civilian Public Service, was built on the pioneering efforts of these communities. But the impact of the Amish and Mennonites runs deeper than legal changes. By excelling in roles needing empathy, discipline, and resilience, from improving mental health care to ensuring food security, they established that every type of societal contribution has merit, even those far removed from the war front. Their unwavering service questioned the traditional view of war as the ultimate sacrifice, instead shining a light on the power of peacemaking and community-centric work. Still today, the footprints of the Amish and Mennonite communities are visible in the rise of nonviolent activism. Peace organizations often point to their actions as motivation for cultivating change without violence. Their actions offer valuable learning experiences in universities, civil rights movements, and peace-building initiatives globally, proving that even small, Principle-driven groups can spark systemic changes in social consciousness. In terms of cultural impact, these communities emphasize the importance of preserving one's identity amidst overwhelming external pressures. This is a powerful lesson on how to respect tradition and engage in broader societal discussions without compromising personal beliefs. Courage takes many forms. The Amish and Mennonites show us that bravery isn't solely found in combat. It can exist in quiet acts of service, daily dedication to personal values, and unwavering commitment to faith and integrity, even in the face of adversity and sacrifices. Today, their story continues to inspire us to rethink our definitions of service, sacrifice, and courage. It prompts us to reflect on the essence of serving a higher purpose while contributing to the common good. War isn't just a physical conflict, but also a torrent of societal shifts and trials, testing the resilience of societies determined to preserve their customs. The Amish and Mennonites face this challenge head-on, reconciling their deeply held principles of peace and separation with the harsh realities of wartime. Their response is an incredible testament to their cultural tenacity. Their unfaltering dedication to mutual aid lies at the heart of their strength. In times of hardship, such as Mennonite farms being set ablaze during the Civil War or the economic difficulties of World War II, their communities united in support. Their loss of a barn or crops brought neighbors together to rebuild and replant, often within a day, reinforcing their shared values and demonstrating their resilience to even the toughest trials. Yet this resilience wasn't solely about surviving material losses. In a rapidly modernizing world, preserving their cultural identity required dedicated vigilance. During the Civil War, an onslaught of pressure from neighbors and laws compelled Amish and Mennonite communities to conform. However, their silent refusal and steadfast adherence to their pacifist beliefs became a potent form of resistance, displaying the strength of a community that endures and persists rather than fighting back. Even in the face of hostility and being labeled as cowards or traitors for their refusal to fight, their integrity remained unshaken. Their deeds, from continuing to provide food for the nation to compassionate care and non-combat roles, stood testament to the value and strength of a silent yet resilient lifestyle. Their resilience also stemmed from their ability to adapt, not by forsaking their values, but through creating innovative solutions fitting to a changing world. For example, while the CPS camps of World War II clashed with Amish traditions, they found ways to maintain their identity, some choosing plain clothing over uniforms, others embedding their faith in prayer and scripture even when far from home. This adaptability also allowed them to navigate an American legal and political landscape often discordant with their beliefs. When laws or policies threatened their customary ways, they found avenues for protection through Mennonite representations and legal advocates, tactfully maneuvering conflicts, balancing principle with practicality, and ensuring their cultural longevity. Possibly the most remarkable aspect of their resilience is their unwavering commitment to cultivate peace amidst turmoil. For them, peace wasn't just a principle, but a way of life, embedded in every decision, not out of defiance, but as a faithful summons to a higher standard. Whether in the burning Shenandoah Valley during the Civil War or a changing America during World War II, their dedication remained unyielding. Their resilience wasn't about remaining unchanged. It was about preservation. It was about ensuring their traditions, values, and community ties thrived, even as the world around them evolved. They displayed that a life of simplicity and faith could survive even the most monumental pressures. This unspoken yet profound resilience carried them through both wars, shaping their identity even today. But how about the women of these communities? What role did they play during these times? Driven by an unwavering faith, these women stepped into roles of caretakers and homemakers with a sense of purpose that ran deep. From the Civil War to World War II, they took up the mantle of upkeeping households and farms, while men navigated the complex terrain of civilian public service camps or conscientious objection. But these women didn't just confine their efforts to the home. Sewing circles turned into fortresses of contribution. Here, practical items such as quilts, clothing, and blankets were crafted. Yet these were more than just items. They were threads of compassion and community care, sent off to soldiers, relief entities, and families in dire need. Beyond homemaking and community service, these women nurtured the very soul of their community. They were the spiritual compasses, guiding their children through the core values of peace, humility, and forgiveness. Through tales and everyday rituals, they instilled the principles of non-resistance, forging the path for the upcoming generation to endure in a world often in contest with their beliefs. These women didn't shy away from the entrepreneurial spirit either. Some ran small businesses like bakeries or farm stands, supporting their families during harsh times. These undertakings were not just about financial stability, they strengthened the unyielding community's self-sufficiency and resilience. During World War II, heartwarming care packages filled with homemade delicacies, written words of comfort, and tokens of hope were sent to their loved ones in CPS camps. These gestures, while seemingly small, echoed the loud sentiment that they weren't alone and that their sacrifices were cherished. The emblematic strength of these women was seen in their ability to adapt. As the world evolved, they weaved their traditions to sync with the changing times. Their tireless efforts, dedication to nurturing the next generation, and quiet acts of service showcased their indispensable contribution. These women's resilience and resourcefulness ensured not just survival, but the flourishing of their communities, even amidst the darkest chapters of history. They were indeed the unsung heroes of their era, epitomizing that true strength often rests in the soundless, unwavering commitment to keeping everything intact. The impact of quiet, peace-loving communities like the Mennonites, and to the larger extent, those who follow a similar lifestyle, ripple across the nation, leaving deep imprints on American ideals of kindness, freedom, and service. Enlightening the masses with alternative routes to societal contribution, the demonstration of their commitment to peace, particularly during moments of national unrest, is indeed noteworthy. When the Civil War raged, the government found itself grappling with the moral intricacies of drafting these peace lovers into combat. By the advent of World War II, the relentless pursuit of peaceful solutions led to the establishment of the Civilian Public Service, or CPS, providing an avenue for conscientious objectors to serve their nation while maintaining their convictions. This setup didn't only benefit those practicing the traditional lifestyle, but laid a critical foundation for conscientious objectors from all walks of life. As regulations evolved to incorporate alternative service provisions during conflicts like the Korean and Vietnam Wars, their unyielding defense of principles broadened the horizon for religious liberties. It fortified the notion that conscientious objection is a noble stance, deserving of respect and legal protection. Challenging the age-old definitions of patriotism, these peace-loving communities proved that serving one's nation doesn't necessarily mean taking up arms. Be it working tirelessly in psychiatric hospitals, combating forest fires, or enhancing agriculture during wartime, their nonviolent contributions underlined the significance and nobility of peaceful service. Steadfast in their values, even in the face of societal disapproval, they reshaped the interpretation of national service, emphasizing that peace and compassion are indeed patriotic virtues. An often overlooked but profoundly influential realm where these communities made a difference is mental health care. During World War II, participants were deployed to understaffed and cash-strapped mental health institutions, where they witnessed conditions far from humane. Their tender approach towards the patients and the insights they shared about the deeply flawed system sparked nationwide discussions around mental health care. Their contributions led to significant reforms and higher standards for patient treatment, underscoring how peaceful service can foster substantial, enduring change. Arguably, the most enduring legacy left behind by these communities is their ability to inspire more significant empathy and societal tolerance. Their perseverance in practicing forgiveness and humility, despite misunderstandings and scrutiny, highlighted a unique approach to dealing with conflict and hardship. Their unwavering stand on their beliefs, despite immense pressure to conform, resonated with the ideals of individual rights and moral conviction. Their story stimulated wider acceptance of religious diversity, shaped public opinion on how a diverse society should function, and paved the way for other minority groups to advocate for their rights. Their legacy transcends their physical existence, affecting lives in ways they could scarcely have comprehended. Through their deeds and sacrifices, they exhibit that faith, conviction, and compassion hold the power to transform not just individuals, but entire systems and societies. Their narrative serves as a testament to the everlasting impact of peaceful resistance and a reminder that meaningful service comes in many forms. What a remarkable testament to the strength of faith and commitment. From standing firm in the Civil War to reshaping service during World War II, the Amish and Mennonites showed us that peace can thrive in even the darkest times. Their story challenges us to rethink what it means to serve, to sacrifice, and to stand by your beliefs. How do you see their legacy influencing the present day? What lessons can we carry forward? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to Savvy Results for more incredible stories that uncover history's hidden treasures. Together, let's explore how the past shapes our present and our future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.